Did you know that with the upcoming release of Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, there will now be more versions of this game than any other game in the series? We've kind of danced around this topic in a few of my other videos, but in today's video, we're just going to address this topic head on. What are the 4 versions? Well, I'm glad you asked. The first one was A Wonderful Life, and it was released on the Gamecube in 2003. The second version was released the next year in 2004, and it was called Another Wonderful Life. That same year, it was released on the PS2 as A Wonderful Life Special Edition. The fourth version is going to be Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, and this is going to release in Japan in January of 2023, and then in the West, it's just a tentative summer 2023. Now, let's just look at a few differences between the games. The first interesting thing is that in all 4 of these games, none of them have the same marriage candidates. In the original Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, you'll notice that there's only 3 marriage candidates. That's right, no Lumina. In Another Wonderful Life, there's still only 3 marriage candidates, and these are the 3 marriage candidates that we got. You may notice that there's no Cody. The special edition of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life added 1 more marriage candidate in Lumina. The remake of Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is going to blow them all out of the water because it's going to have 8 marriage candidates. Now, let's look at other ways in which the games differed. Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life was the original game. Harvest Moon: Another Wonderful Life allowed you to play as a female farmer, and it fixed some of the glitches of the original game. Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life Special Edition had a lot of different changes. Lumina is now eligible for marriage. You have the choice to have a son or a daughter. There's a heaven mode that is unlocked after the game's ending. There's a new farm extension called the Fertilizer Maker. The player character's clothes change with each season. Text has a different size now, and more text is fit in at the same time. There are 3 different colors of the horse available. Goats can be sold. You now have the option to train your dog. Your field now must be fertilized on each square in order to produce grass. The furthest, most fertile field from your house now must be unlocked and bought rather than being available from the beginning. Different cow types are unlocked as years pass rather than all being available from the beginning. Multiple different music records are gifted to the player by certain characters once they're befriended. You may hear all those changes and think, wow, that's great, I should play the special edition. However, I do have to issue a warning here. The warning is that the load times are supposed to be atrocious in this game. In the original GameCube game, the load times were not that bad, but in the PS2 version, maybe because there was a problem with porting it, the load times are really bad, and you bump into them very often. So now you may be wondering, how is the remake going to be different from those 3 versions? Well, I could go on and on about that, but I've actually started a weekly update type of video where I'll go through all of the changes that are going to be occurring in the remake. So if you want to see those videos, you can see it in the playlist down below. My question for all of you today is, if you could play one of the original 3, which one would you choose and why? For me personally, I would choose Another Wonderful Life because I would want to marry Marlin. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time.